Hi guys, this is Elizabeth with eBethArt, and today I'm back with another video. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to be drawing my own version of Rapunzel. I'm drawing Rapunzel from like the original story, so this is completely my original drawing, and I had a lot of fun with it, especially since Rapunzel has always been like one of my favorite princesses since forever. So I really got to explore my own creativity here and try something new. So here you can see I'm starting to do the sketch layer of this drawing, and it was something I've never really done before. Like, I used a different brush. If you watch any of my other videos, you notice I usually use the hard dip pen, but here I'm using more of like a pencil for sketching, which was something I should probably do more often because it reminds me a lot of traditional sketching. So now you see me lowering the opacity layer. I'm going to start with my official line art. And I used a brown color, which is another something I don't usually do. I usually use black, but I've noticed that black sometimes makes my line art really harsh and makes the colors blend together a little bit weirdly. So I really liked how I used the brown here, and I'm going to definitely use that again going forward in the future. So now that I have the line art done, I'm going to start picking my brush and laying down some color. So I'm just going to lay down my flat color and then I'll go back and do highlights and shading later. So this was a bit of a hard point for me because I was trying to find a way to add original color because, you know, if you've watched enough movies that portray a Rapunzel, you know, you see a lot of the same color scheme. So I wanted to go with something that was going to be a little bit different and yet still make it very clear who I was drawing. So I chose a really pale yellow for her hair, which I like the way that turned out. It was very pretty. I ended up using the bucket tool to fill most of that in. And then I start using these shades of green for her dress, and I also like the way that turned out. You know, usually you see a lot of pinks and purples, but I think the green blended well along with her hair and the contrast, so I like the way that turned out. I also really like her dress. I was trying to go for something that was going to be a little bit more historically accurate. I did some research before filming the video on clothing of that time period, but I ended up going with something that really probably wouldn't have seen much. But I was still trying to, you know, make it original, and I felt like this was just something she would wear. It feels very carefree and summery. You can see that also I colored up on the neck portion of her dress, but I actually ended up changing that here soon because I didn't really like the way it looked. Yeah, I use this darker green for her skirt and for her jacket, and I love all the green tones I used throughout the drawing. I think it just looks really nice. So here I start working on the background of the drawing, and since she's on a swing, I was thinking of doing like maybe like a garden or a forest with lots of nice trees and bushes and stuff like that. And I started working around with the other green colors, and some of the greens I used here actually have lots of blue tones because I didn't want everything to blend in with the dress. That is something that's difficult when you're drawing green clothing, green or blue, with a natural background. But I think it actually turned out pretty well. I used the Gaussian blur filter to make everything blend, and then I start adding in some brushes and ferns and stuff using the alcohol marker brush, which I found that to be very handy. It gave those natural looks to the brush and stuff around her. I, I just really like all the different green tones I was able to incorporate into this. I don't use a lot of green, but this gave me lots of good practice for doing that in the future. So right here now I'm starting to add shading and stuff to the hair and the dress and all the different portions of the drawing. The hair I actually used like a color that's kind of in between like peach and pink, and I don't shade blonde hair very often in this cartoony style, but I think that was the perfect color choice to go with. I think it mixes in really well. You can see me now messing around with different brushes and how I'm going to be shading the skin. I started with an airbrush, but then I eventually just went to the dip pen, I believe, and then I lowered the opacity on that layer, so that was pretty easy. Now you see me doing the dress and highlights and all in there. I think I could have experimented more with blues and stuff looking back now, but I still like the way it turned out in the end. So now I'm just finishing up the drawing, and I think I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and have a great day.